The first cut you're going to see on the spindle is a roughing cut. By using this gouge in a very perpendicular position to the wood, similar to a roughing gouge, we're going to do exactly that. We're going to rough out the wood in a very timely fashion. Now let's see how it goes. For time's sake, we're going to stop here, but you can see how using the nose of this tool, roughing out a spindle can be made very easy. Another roughing cut you can use on spindle grain orientation is a cut using the side of the tool. This cut is a very, very aggressive cut and can get out of hand if you don't control it. However, it is much more effective than actually using the nose. For the technique that I'm going to be using, I'm actually not going to be holding the tool into my body. I'm going to be holding the tool slightly away from my body and keep the tool in a very, very angled position away, almost parallel with the lathe. Doing this, I'm going to catch the bevel and create a very, very nice cut that'll rough the wood away very quickly. Now let's see it cut. You can see that that removed a lot of wood in a very short period of time and gave the wood a relatively smooth finish. The great thing about using an Ellsworth grind bull gouge is that you have the ability to mimic almost any other tool, including a skew. A skew has a very flat ground bevel that gives you very, very shiny results on the workpiece. By using an Ellsworth grind bull gouge in an upright position using the side of the tool, we can achieve just about the same shine as with a skew. The part of the tool that we're going to be using is the side of the tool in a very straight manner, riding the bevel. The technique is different from most other cuts, as we're going to be riding the bevel on the side and keeping a low profile on the work handle. Now let's see the bull gouge do the thing the skew can do best. You can see that the roughed out side of the blank is a lot rougher than the side that I just cut. As a matter of fact, the bull gouge can do just as good a job as a skew on spindle orientation, if you know how to use it properly. The next two cuts you're about to see are specialty cuts, called a bead and a cove. The first cut we'll explore is a bead. By using the gouge in an upright position, we're going to be able to cut off the end of the blank and then come back and do a right and left-handed sweep down into the bead. The tool positioning for this cut is very unusual. I'm going to be having the tool almost, if not directly, upside down. This will give me the edge I need that'll mimic a spindle gouge, which is normally used for cutting beads. Now let me show you what I mean. Remember to keep the flute face down to give you the best bevel cut you can possibly get. Beads can be done on spindles in any shape and size using this gouge. For time's sake, I did a small bead, but bigger beads and beads in between can be done just as easily using the same tool. The last cut you're going to see is what is called a cove. A cove is basically a U cut into the wood. You see coves on a lot of balusters and chair legs. Coves are a very simple task to complete with a bowl gouge such as this one. Cutting a cove requires a little bit of an interesting technique. The best technique for cutting a cove is to keep your hand underneath the tool, one finger underneath the tool rest, and your thumb on top. You're going to start out by making a flat spot in the wood and gradually work your way down to your final depth. Then you're going to come back and, keeping the tool with the flute faced completely straight up and down, are going to come back and cut a light cut along each side, meeting in the middle. This is going to give you an even thickness and make your cove look uniform all the way around. Let's see a cove. From that cut, you can see that I got a very even cove all the way around the workpiece. The purpose of this next section of video is to show you the various ways of sharpening an Ellsworth grind bowl gouge. I'm going to be showing you 3 different ways to sharpen a bowl gouge, using 3 different methods on 3 different machines. The first method I'm going to show you is how to do it on a bench grinder. I'm going to be showing a freehand style of sharpening, which is not really a style that most people tend to go to, because you'll never get a perfect bevel on it. Although, I prefer this method because it's very fast and efficient. I'm going to be using a 6-inch bench grinder, and I'm just going to be holding the tool, and going from one end of the bevel to the other end of the bevel. If I do this in one sweeping motion, I should be able to get a good grind on the tool. The next 2 ways I'm going to show you how to sharpen a bowl gouge are being done with a David Ellsworth sharpening jig. This is going to give me an absolutely perfect bevel across the whole tool and a great edge. This is a vertical belt sander from Big Tree Tools, and with a little adapter, which is nothing more than an aluminum coupling that will hold the jig, I'll be able to rotate the tool from side to side and get a great edge on the tool. The final way of sharpening an Ellsworth grind bowl gouge is using a Woodcraft Mark II. Although any abrasive kind of wheel like this can be used, this is a great one because it's not used for sharpening a bowl gouge traditionally. But with a little attachment, which is just a mahogany block with a little hole drilled in it to get the angle you want, it works absolutely great for sharpening this tool. No matter what method of sharpening you use, just remember that the only point of sharpening is to put a new edge on the tool. That's why using all sorts of fancy gizmos and gadgets is not necessary. As long as you have a nice sharp edge to work with, all these cuts can be done very easily. So there you have it. Using an Ellsworth grind bowl gouge will make you a more efficient and more resourceful turner by far. From utilitarian to art to furniture, using an Ellsworth grind or side grind bowl gouge is the right tool. Happy turning.